Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. Chapter Cheese sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
My God, you know, I can do who I really want, but the guy's all
Awesome.
This is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you can check out DJ's shows every day, and you can check it out on
Thanks for listening.
It's not like I sweat or anything. Mattress device which absorbs the sweat that I sweat and gives it all back to me. I roll around in that just gigantic.
Do what you gotta do.
Literally gave himself an I'm trying to
Brought to you by Travis Klein with Bankruptcy Attorney. He's here right now and he's ready to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's your listener question. How do I rebuild my credit after filing bankruptcy? One credit period at a time by making painless how long is a bankruptcy? Choose the right chapter. Thanks for listening.
I have switched mainly that video. Like a ton of different things that were going on in that video. And ended up being researched on that video with that's why I put on parole. That's why I had deodorant. What do you mean?
Choose the right chapter.com. Choose the right chapter.com. Thanks for listening.
First of all, Danny, you're asking, so it doesn't matter what you clean yourself.
I don't even know who to talk to.
I understand that, but the axe is going to overpower whatever the soap smells like when you throw that on.
My brother and I probably won't talk about it. My buddy put on this.
The only time I get worked up is when they work with me. So you're not doing it to smell good for other people. You're doing it to smell good for smell. The problem is that you age out your kids go. Come on, my friends and I have but pine tar is different than pine.
And they also have I don't think I would. Could you like
you want to smell like who cares?
So why would you put anything on after that? That should be the maybe that's a combination of the video. Started in the middle of your body.
Very powerful.
I don't understand. I don't think like hard. Vicky and you're about to go Jesus Gen X. I'm very disappointed in you. That's my I've already okay boomer. This is my head. I'm like Danny is such a Danny is such a Sarah is okay go. Before you go right to the store and just get soap. I was fucking with my wife. It's like a half mark. You know what? Do you ever? That's how people got to know. It's got to be more than I made. $5 a bar. I'd have to find out because that could be really. That's all it costs you to get it. It's awkward because everybody like it was the party was supposed to think you know, and I don't know. I know when I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be video. All I want to do is take a shower, but I'm standing there like have video that might be. I don't know, but I want. I would like to go CGI or but I think whoever did that, I'm the idiot and they know it. I'm putting to video. I got to draw the line.
Okay, you know I have my mouth.
Yeah, I got to draw the line. A lot of my friends are doing that. Here we go. That'll get them.
I'd be like, sign me up too. Let's take them together.
All of a sudden, all this got to get out of the car.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really what every mother does.
I've always wanted to get them done.
Smelling soap and it's all natural. My favorite is the goat milk.
Because that way, it's like people always show up
so
we're ready.
You've only got one lady, so let's just say the lady of it.
But if she got
You better say you only have one lady. Otherwise, you're going to have more trouble than the soap at home.
A lot of people are texting with Danny.
Yeah,
I know who they are.
So I shouldn't show up.
Would you not tell her? I hope she doesn't know. Just like she was
Why? Because no self-respecting Germans are born subscribe to soda. You got a boob job.
And also your Instagram
No
post,
part
you like to show
Every now and again, I would get it done.
Subscription way worth it. And then fly to Dublin, 8 o'clock.
I would probably get it done.
You know what? I'm sorry. You're not going to sell me on this. I am drawing the line on the fancy. I've lived my whole life without Dr. Squash.
do whatever everybody blames.
See, I have Dr. Squash. Steve and I are going to get Dr. Squash by because we're going to buy random vegetables and wash ourselves with them. And then we're going to and make millions. Steve, selling to millennials all this stupid soy stuff. It's made from squash. It's all natural. Rub it all over your body. We bought it in the post department for like $1. Here's a $10 bar of squash.
I'm sure my dad was working for them.
Here you go. It smells like window wash fluid. Here you go. Please don't talk about what your mother's breast and how happy I'm made by them. Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Check it out.
Crying and eating the dip for them.
No, I don't know. I like bacon on a leash.
I actually am doing why are you trying to sell me on something that you think is not realizing? Because I don't want to. That's an amazing response. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How do I know if bankruptcy is going to provide me with relief? What are the steps for my situation?
There's so much information out there about bankruptcy with the internet and what people have heard from friends and other people that they're talking about their financial issues or bankruptcy. There's also a lot of bad information out there or mentions about bankruptcy. Determine whether bankruptcy makes sense for you that's experienced in bankruptcy. So in order to determine whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, you should talk to an experienced bankruptcy attorney. And my job is not to convince you to file bankruptcy. My job is to help you make that decision.
Why are we talking about my and my children are here? I was giving you the earmuffs.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com.
I don't know really what the story is in life.
It's so fun to see some of the text messages.
Some people
anecdotally
that I know.
99.9 KISW as a parent.
My thing is, I don't know how
this is a sad survey, man, about us wasting our cash.
That was terrible.
I found out the average person wastes over $70,000 in their lifetime.
But then there's been some instances where everyone's body reacts differently. People's body react differently. They're moody. They're quite a bit.
Wow. Steve wants to be a ventriloquist. This is not good.
I didn't think about it.
Yeah, so I just don't want my kid to have to go through that. And
now, of course, we haven't been alive that long
to do it. I would have a strong talking because I would like purchase.
Not a jalapeno on a stick.
But what they do is they took an average $800 a year because that's what we end up spending online, and then they multiply that over 54 years. Luckily, my wife has no desire.
And I never really liked
$70,000.
Yeah, because she already has big boobs as it is.
That's a little bit of a stretch, but
she would never need one.
But here's the thing: there are women still.
Yeah, because there are generations
your mama's gifted that still, as they get older, they
video
know
was
nothing
so
about online
day,
data.
controversial.
They life. Now they're in a different place. And
I remember when they're like, people only take
yeah, and I like.
I remember staying up and watching
And until we get a worldwide agreement on what sizes are right, I think we're always going to have this problem. Because I'll order something size large and then it shows up, and I'm pretty sure that it was like a size small for a child. I'm like,
please join
some money high shirt.
Christina Aguilera dirty.
Oh yeah, I would.
Because I know I'm up and then it showed up. It took forever to show up, and I realized.
I mean, not best video. It's a good video. But I mean, we're going to start saying because
find out that his dad had already hooked up with her behind the barista stand that he works at.
Especially when you were like 14, it was amazing.
Yeah, large is, other countries, they're larger. Great to look at, actually probably medium.
There needs to be I think I need a 4XL. Does he come home with
so many other videos you're kicking out of the top spot?
Prove that art.
I mean, it's fun. Yeah. The most common you know what, kid? I tried it out.
It's so
things are going to go. I recommend this person.
I think I got the size right.
Or shoes. You guys are Eskimo bros.
You guys warned me not to buy
your father's son and also Eskimo bros.
anyway, and the hat didn't fit, even though it was the same size.
If you found this out,
I have a big head, and it was actually too big. The hat was too big.
You don't buy
the texture, you know beforehand or find out
because a 5 or a 7 and 3
is a hat that shirtless guy in there. Why do they do that?
That's I mean, we find out that his dad had already. Until today, I didn't even know there was anyone else.
I know. Okay.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How much does bankruptcy cost?
Well, bankruptcy costs, of course, vary depending on what type of case you're filing. There's a certain amount of court costs and other out-of-pocket costs that you're going to have in any case. The filing fees in a bankruptcy case are about $300
Did you
to watch out for when you're shopping for bankruptcy attorneys or looking at different cost options is that a lot of times, especially the leadership places, don't tell you all the court costs and whatnot that you're going to have to pay in addition to
I really like the dad.
make sure that you get the full picture when you're
really would like to see your dad because, well, the angle was I really didn't get a
what the attorney fees are, how much costs
All
are
right,
going
so
to
we
be,
got
so
this
that you can really
survey,
make a true
and what we found
comparison.
out is
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com.
It's all it's on my mind is my online purchase.
Looking for a better way
So
to
based on this point, even for a fling, I couldn't do it.
She accidentally calls his name in the
I
first time.
wasted money on blank.
Probably doesn't want her calling her
206-421 Rock,
dad.
text us 77999.
Oh, she called me Sonny. I can't believe I wasted money on my marriage.
I mean, yeah. I couldn't do it. You say you could if you knew it was just like a
That's a big-
that is a big one, though.
All right, Joe,
how
you
many
find out
people go
BJ's
into
been
marriage,
there.
Steve,
Can you
and
do
they
it?
just
Hell
know,
no.
oh, man, I shouldn't be doing
we know the
this.
answer to
That's a
that
big
one.
ticket.
She's like the ultimate.
it really is a big
ultimate
lending
lending on.
Like she's my 10
Yeah,
out
if
of
it
10.
doesn't
I
work
know
out,
it's going to be
yeah,
over afterwards.
If you look
Kind
back
of
on it,
maybe
like a good fling for a few weeks or something.
And people know.
I don't think so.
One
I
of
don't
them
think I could
usually
get over
knows,
it.
but
At
they're
least
just
once?
afraid of
Yeah, because
backing
like,
out
say I
because
do it,
everything's
and
been
then I
done
go
and
to play a
planned
board
and
game
all
with
that,
BJ.
but
Like,
man,
what's the
that's a lot of
conversation
dough.
I'm going to have? Is
I
he
can
going to
relate to
bring
this
it
one. I
up?
can't
Am
believe
I
I
going
wasted
to
money
bring
on
it up?
video games that I played for a couple of days.
My mom's going to
and
ask
never
way too
again.
many questions about
Oh,
breast
science
implant
Steve,
plans or
Yeah,
something.
you can't play Battleship In all because fairness, I sunk your battleship and banged the girl you were once dating.
It's like, wow,
I think it was last year I finally
one
said,
peg.
you know
Wow.
what? I'm going to have to stop the tradition.
My peg.
I do not.
Okay, then. Yes, I look around. Steve, this great conversation with my children brought to you by
There's probably a lot of games that you haven't played yet, huh?
Yeah, we call it the shelf of shame, where you see the one area of your shelf where you put all the games that you haven't played yet. Some of them still in
I have no idea.
Okay.
And you're like, they just magically appear on my screen, and I'm told to read them.
That's your response. I have no idea who's in charge of reading text. Okay, I'll be back with more text after this. But he never wants to give them. Like I said, dude, I'll buy them off you. Hand them over.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. If I call Travis, will I actually see him or someone who works for him?
Absolutely. When you come in to see my office, when you first call in, my staff will try to help you with any basic questions that you have. I can give you a call back, but they'll schedule. Usually try to schedule you for a free consultation with me, the attorney, and I'll meet with you personally. We'll talk about the basics of your case, and I'll take you through a question and answer session. They usually lasts about 30 minutes. We'll get the basics of your financial situation. I can answer your questions, and we can talk about whether bankruptcy makes sense, your non-bankruptcy options, and how bankruptcy could affect you, what the process is.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for listening.
They're all getting to us, Steve. They're going, we will not make you go anywhere to make this payment, sir.
It's mostly like the mom and pop type websites, like, you know, like they're not the big business ones because they don't have a PayPal or an Apple Pay option, and they make you work for it, so you have to type in the credit card info. And a lot of times I won't buy things because of that reason. But I think the dumbest purchase I recently made, and man, every day I look at it and I'm like, I can't believe, and I never. So I needed a leaf blower, like one of those leaf blower suckers.
No, you weren't that guy. Were you that guy?
What do you mean that guy?
The leaf blower guy?
Well, yeah, I needed more for the sucking option, not the blowing.
All right.
I needed more to suck than blow.
You should have called anybody on this show because we all suck.
Hey, yo. So I'm like, I don't want to drop a ridiculous amount of money. Like, some of these are a little expensive, but I also want one that's just like battery powered. I don't need it for much, just to kind of keep the backyard clean, mostly like random leaves or whatever. So I was like, I'll go on Amazon. I'm like, oh, look at this one. It's like $80 or $75. It's electric. It'll do everything I need for it to do, right? So I order it, and dumbass Steve didn't bother like looking at the dimensions. This thing showed up. It's basically the size. It's like a children's leaf blower.
Nice, you got a dustbuster.
Woo!
Like,
good job, buddy.
I looked at this thing, and I'm like, if in order to use this, I'm going to sacrifice my back because I have to be hunched over just to be able to get at this. And it barely sucks.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, this thing sucks how bad it sucks.
Yeah.
And it gets like clogged up. I tried it once. I'm like, well, at this point, I've tried it. I don't think I can return it. And now it's gone too far. Like now it just sits outside. And I just look at this thing, and I'm like, what a waste of money. This thing does no good. It barely blows. The whole thing, it's just like, I just basically took $75 and burned it. Yeah. And I'm so mad at myself, because I'm like, if I would have just paid a couple extra dollars, I could have got a decent size one. And here I am being Mr. Cheap Ass.
So I will say this, though. You could send Tatum out if it's the right dimensions for her. Send her out. She thinks she's doing the big kids' work.
No, the problem is it makes such a loud noise it freaks her the F out.
Oh, boy. Time for Coco Melon again.
Right. I mean, right now it's basically a glorified vacuum for my car.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, my God, that is so horrible.
And it doesn't even work as good as our vacuum.
I would have to give that away, because to see the trophy of my own failure, and I've done that. I've seen things I've thought, this is making me miserable every time I see it. I just need to get rid of it, even though I wasted money on it, because it's a trophy of my own failure.
I walk outside and I look at it, and I'm just like, why did I do this? Why? Why am I so stupid?
Every time.
I'm looking at Vicky, and I already can see that Vicky is an impulse buyer. I can see what she's wearing today. She's an impulse buyer because that show. I mean, you went and you totally bought that shirt because you love that show.
I may or may not have bought two of the same one.
Yeah, it's a podcast. I know the show. I know Dark History.
Yeah, it's a podcast I listen to, and I really like the chick. Right. And so I bought two of the same hoodie and maybe her sweatpants.
Exactly. I don't. I'm judging you because, well, I do the same thing for the stuff that I love.
It looks comfortable, at least.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to the sizing thing. I can't trust sizes, so lately I've just been buying everything like 2 sizes too big, which honestly is really comfortable. I'm really digging it. So, but I look like I'm in pajamas all day. But
yeah, you do.
Or in a new metal band from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Ooh, I just got to do my hair a little different. I'm digging this look. But honestly, the one that always pisses me off is I was really into like the colored contacts for a while. And I went to Comic-Con and I bought the big sclera ones, which is the one that covers your entire eyeball. Like
all black.
All black out. I was super excited. I'm like, I can do the regular contacts. No problem. I can do this. I could never get them in my eye. So I had a friend who used to be a like costume, like theater person. She put them in for me. But they were so uncomfortable. It felt like there was dirt in them. I only wore them for like 10 seconds. She took a picture, and I never wore them again. And they cost me $100.
Oh!
Have you ever
worn cheap?
Have you ever worn contacts before?
Yeah, like regular contacts, they're fine.
Okay.
But these because they cover a lot more. I just could not get them in my eye. And then when we did, I think there was something in them, like dirt or something. It was so uncomfortable. Yeah. Kind of like Steve. I should have just burnt the $100 bill and just called it good.
Right. Someone just texted in about me buying a leaf blower that's way too small. He says it's all too common getting items that are too small. I call it, I got Amazoned again.
Yeah, you really have to pay attention. You know,
you got to read the reviews.
Yeah, and I bought some a cologne, and I just figured, I scanned it. I scanned my old bottle and go, here's my old bottle. And it was a small bottle of cologne, and they sent me a giant bottle. Like, I didn't know they even made cologne bottles this big. Steve, 10 years ago, I did this.
2 hands to spray it on you.
Yeah. I still have it. 10 years ago, I got this, and it's still there, and it's at least half full, if not even more. But when that came, I was like, come on, Amazon. I mean, there are different sizes. I scanned the same. So you really have to pay attention. You do.
It's funny even that a person mentioned that because I've been quote unquote Amazon also with I ordered some grout cleaner for our house, and I was like, oh, this is a great deal. And you look at the bottle and it looks like, man, they are creative with how they take pictures because the thing looked like it was like the size of like a laundry detergent bottle. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna be able to use this forever. Like this is, I can even loan it to my friends, all of them, and they could all use it forever. This thing showed up. It was about the size of like an airport bottle of vodka, like one of those airplane bottles. Like I'm like, what the hell? Like I got a shot of grout cleaner. I'm like, but the packaging looks like it's like a little. It almost looks like you got zapped and got shrunk.
Whoever would need just a shot of grout cleaner?
Well, this guy.
Trial
apparently.
size.
Yeah.
It basically is like a travel size. Because, when you go and hit the towns.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Have
When
that
you hit the
grout.
towns.
And did you spend like the appropriate amount for a big one? So did you spend like a crap ton of money on this little guy?
No, I thought I got a really good deal on a big
That's
Deals are never deals.
Look at the face
I
of the
got
guy.
Amazon.
Yeah, look at the face that thought he gamed the system. The system gamed him.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How much does bankruptcy cost?
Usually with my office, we do a flat fee that includes all your court costs, filing fees, credit counseling, credit reports in one cost. In Chapter 13 cases, that usually starts at about $900. With Chapter 7 cases, so total costs, including all your court costs, attorney fees, is usually about $1,500. We offer payment plans on Chapter 7, so you can start a file with my office for as little as $200. You can send your creditor calls to us. We'll take your creditor calls while you gather up your information and make payments on the rest of the fees. With Chapter 13 cases, we can make payment arrangements in most cases as well and get your case filed even sooner in a Chapter 13 case because of the reorganization aspect to it.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. A new poll gave people 6 date options and asked which one they would prefer. And they gave people 6 options. And here's what people said that would be the number one thing. And hate to tell you, but sex is not number one.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be number one for a date.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like that's the end result of a fun date.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, maybe it'll happen. But I never think, oh, what do you want to do for a date? Sex.
That's just Tinder, right?
Sex.
Yeah,
That's a booty call.
Yeah.
Well, it is number 6 on the list, though. So, I mean, it is up there.
Meaning up to bang.
Yeah. Matter of fact, 44% say they would have sex on a first date in 2021. So that's, almost half the people said, yeah, well, I'll have sex on the first date, sure.
Well, after 2020, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Right. This well's been dry for so long.
Cobwebs.
Cobwebs.
Oh, Lord.
How many guys, though,
Happy
wouldn't?
Halloween.
You know, I feel like out of that 44%, it's got to be almost like 100% of guys. You know, if this is a 50-50 poll of women and men, how many guys are saying no to sex on the first date? I mean, unless they hate the first date. But like you said, Steve, like, hey, if it happens, how wonderful that would be. I think most guys would have your opinion.
I'm trying to think of, like, what is the ultimate date? Like, honestly, it'd be expensive. But I think a great first date would go to a hockey game, go see the Kraken, be around some people, enjoy some food. You get to yell, you have to have fun. Hopefully they play well so you can celebrate and high five, and high fives lead to sex.
Yeah. Oh, high fives lead to sex.
That's the shirt that they sell at the Kraken store.
Well, especially if you're going with a hockey fan, like if you were single and you took a girl, I think like your extensive knowledge of the sport might be like, oh, this is cool because I didn't know anything about it before, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think also like even if you're both new to the sport, I think it's so high energy that you probably get caught up in it.
Yeah,
that's an interesting call. I never thought of taking somebody to a sporting event, especially if I didn't know anything about it. It's interesting. I feel like, oh man, if I'm the one that's got to initiate this date, I feel like they're going to ask me questions because I'm the one that said, let's go to this event. And if I don't know anything, I'm going to feel like, I'm going to feel a lot of pressure.
I don't know. If you look at me like, look, I'm just as dumb as you are about this sport. I just thought it'd be fun to eat I wanted to try Shaq's Big Chicken. Right. Wouldn't you?
Oh, all right. Fair enough. I can see that.
Like a baseball game would be fun, too, for different reasons because you have a fun background to you just hanging out, chilling, and just having a conversation.
Baseball, I could see 100% because it's way more low key, and you're just sitting in the seats, and it could be quiet at times.
Depends on the date.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're going on a date because you just want to like tear it up on the night out and get wasted, like maybe a Seahawks game or a hockey game would be a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the person, well, baseball can be slow and boring for some people. That could be tough. They could be sitting there going, why did you bring me here? It's 3 to 4 hours of this. Why?
But there's time to talk.
Yeah.
So each of you can learn a little bit more about each other while you're being bored by baseball.
And if you don't like it, you make, look, we could just go to Dreamgirls right across the street.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Call.
If this is boring, I've got some excitement for you, lady.
The only entertainment that showed up on this list was actually a movie. People still are willing to go to movies.
I feel like a movie's not the way to go.
I never got the movie thing.
Not for first.
You're not
no.
able to talk. You're not able to do anything.
Date 5 or 6 when like you've run out of things to say. All right,
feels
in all
like-
honesty,
yeah.
date 2.
It feels like a movie, like if you want to do a movie thing, it should be you see the movie before and then talk about it like a book club or something.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, at least at that point, you'd have something to talk about, and you could talk to the person as opposed to waiting till the end of the movie.
Is dinner just like a plain like restaurant number 1?
That is number 1, sir. Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say pizza.
Yep.
I would fall in line with that.
Yeah. That's my ideal date would just be pizza and beer somewhere.
If you really want to wine and dine them, just take them to Mod Pizza.
There you go.
High-end pizza.
Oh, good call.
They get to decide what they want on it.
I'm happy to read that being number 1 because I know there were a lot of people that were self-conscious of going to dinner because they didn't really want to eat much. They didn't want to look like they ate a whole lot. I don't know how many guys had that problem because I didn't. I would be like, give me all the food. I don't care.
You just got to not go to like chicken wings on the first date because then they see how much
Messy.
of a slob you are.
It's like what they always say, like spaghetti too is a bad dating thing because if you're
Yeah.
slurping and the sauce just gets all over your shirt.
And then you have
Pizza can
garlic
kinda-
bread.
Yeah, pizza can kind of give you that situation.
Not as
Yeah.
bad.
I'm thinking like saucy chicken wings that are just all over your face. And the
Yeah, there's
grease.
that.
And then if they're not eating their wings, you shame them for being like for wing abuse.
no,
You're like,
actually,
look, there's not enough meat off of those wings. Let me finish
Yeah.
that for you.
I'm stoked for that because at that point I get more chicken wings. So,
But what if they've taken like 2 bites out of each wing, and then there's still like a bunch of meat on there?
I'm eating them.
Yeah, you got to finish it.
That's
then.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And see, if you go with the dry rub, I think you'll be pretty safe when it comes down to the chicken wings.
You got the ranch.
All right then.
Are we still talking about chicken wings?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah. I thought number 2 would be number 1, and that's getting together for drinks because it just loosens you up a little bit if you're a little nervous.
See, I feel like nowadays, if I was in that single world, I would be the king of like coffee dates.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's number 3 on the list, by the way.
Yeah, it's like middle of the day. You could assess the situation, not feeling it. Take care.
Yeah.
What's the worst
if
that
you-
happened? You like lost like $8
If you're nervous
for one drink.
doesn't the coffee jack you up a little bit? See, maybe just because I run high anyway, I high rev. I need something to calm me down. And if I go for a coffee date, I'm going to even be more nervous if I have caffeine.
Yeah,
That doesn't-
caffeine
that doesn't
doesn't
get
hit
you
no,
guys?
caffeine doesn't hit me that way.
Oh.
I mean, if you're wrong, you go to the local heroin store if you got to calm down.
Oh, all right. Thanks, man. It's not on the list, but there it is, number 7. It
Yeah,
didn't make
Harry's
the top
Heroin
10.
Emporium. It's on Pike
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah,
Great place.
And honestly, for me, coffee is one of those things that with our schedule, I would need coffee to like stay
Yes.
awake during a conversation. So,
And maybe even an energy drink on top of it.
yeah.
Well, that's why you get the rum and diet. You know, you get the caffeine and the Coke, and then you get the rum. See, that's my strategy.
I love this
even
text.
it out.
This texter just said, I literally just swiped right on a chick that's wearing a Kraken jersey and her song was Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. Hopefully she swipes right back.
Whoa, is that female Steve?
It might be me with a wig on.
That's cool.
Well, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yeah.
Keep us posted. That sounds like the wedding we all want to be at.
What if that was your way of getting to a Kraken game? I can't afford to go to a Kraken game, so I'm just going to put on a wig and see who invites me to a Kraken game.
It's a good way to do it, Danny. I mean, those tickets can be
Show up.
expensive.
Hey. What do you think of the new Limp Bizkit record?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Kraken player?
Wow. Talk about the ultimate catfish right there. Did we talk about going for a walk together? Because people say they like doing that for a first date.
Huh.
Walking's like exercise. Why would you want to go to exercise on a date?
Well, then you need to find somebody that has your same exercise regimen ideas.
oh,
than
I
that.
have.
Yeah.
Actually,
There's
she
people out
exercises
there-
way more than me.
There are people that love hikes and things like that. I can see that work. I would feel like that's more of a couple dates in. You feel more comfortable with the person. Kind of weird to be like, hey, you want to go into the woods with me for the first time?
Yeah, well, you put it like that.
See, I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking about how much I actually sweat on hikes and stuff.
Kinda, yeah,
Can you
right.
imagine, like, if I would go on a hike with, like, Sarah, who's, like, super in shape, and I'm like, I'm having fun.
This is the best time ever.
Yeah, you really got to know your audience. No doubt. Yeah, I'd be in the same boat, Dan. I mean, I can go for a walk. Like, I can go for like an
Yeah,
even
you got
hike.
your
but-
poles.
Yeah.
That's right.
Someone says, I feel like coffee dates are a terrible idea. It feels like an awkward interview with somebody.
That's what dating is.
Yeah, it kind of is, right?
Yeah, and I can understand why you'd feel that way, because that does seem to be a place where people do interviews as well. They're like,
Hey,
are you
you-
interviewing
you-
for a barista, or are you guys on the date? I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. That's why I feel like an alcoholic beverage helps. You know, but then again, you got to be careful not to do too many. But I feel like drinks are the way to go. But everyone's talking, and it is number 2 on the list. Look, I love a good meal, and you can also get drinks at most places where you can get a meal, so you can still do that.
I wouldn't mind drinks later, but I don't want the night to start with drinks, because I think then there's like a weird. You might be getting a different perception or a different like view of that person, because some people are different when they've had a few drinks in them as opposed to when they don't have a few drinks. So what if you like the person that has a few drinks in them, but not the person really that doesn't?
Oh,
Or you can just be like feeding them Fireball every time you see them.
Yeah.
Been there.
All right, that's not a bad idea.
been there. I think you've described every 1950s marriage, Steve.
Well, I've gone out partying before, and I met this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. He's like, you're amazing. We talked all night. And we're like, let's get together like the next morning or a couple days from now and hang out. And we just kind of sat there and didn't talk. We just were not vibing sober.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had that happen many years. Remember being on a date with someone and I'm like, this chick's awesome. And we go on an actual date after like meeting at a bar. Yeah. And I'm like, man, dud city.
Yeah, we had nothing in common. It just, except we like getting drunk, I guess. I don't know. That sucks.
Yeah.
So
Well,
instead, I
there you
took
go.
a date on Ruston Way for my first date to walk around Ruston Way. Been together 4 years now, and I got a nice make-out session, too.
Oh, nice.
Took you 4 years to make out?
It was a 4-year-long makeout session.
They are saying, like, in this article, 81% of the people do like kissing on the first date. Like, they're all about that.
Dude, Ruston Way in the summer is the spot to go in Tacoma. Like,
Dude, yes.
They've got, I mean, you want to do a movie, there's movie theater. You want to go to, like, fun little, like, random stores, there's stores like that. And then they got great restaurants. And it's just a party out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you
Great view of the mountain.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Oh, I'll have to
Good
get down there
make-out
sometime.
sesh spots from what we hear, BJ.
Well, it looks like I can bring my poles there. It looks like there's enough room for them.
Oh, you and your poles.
Oh, dude, poles everywhere, baby.
You
Gotta go with my poles.
You could even rent one of those like little pedal vehicle things, like not a pedal boat.
Are you talking about the Razor scooters?
No, like just like a thing that you sit in and you have pedals on them, and you just pedal
Like
around.
a bicycle?
No, duh. I know what a bicycle is, you nimrods. It's like a little carriage.
Oh, I know what you're talking. They have them on Alki too, like the little. What do they call them?
Oh, like the
don't
things
know.
you get at the beach, like the pedal beach bike?
Yeah.
Seat things?
Yeah, like the thing
Okay.
that like 5 or 6 of you could sit in. And if you got kids, you can fit even more in there.
All right. Well, if I'm going myself, I think that's going to be a challenge. I'll just keep my poles. But if I have a family of 5 that I somehow have with me, I'm going to do it.
They even got like bike ones too that you could rent.
Oh, I could ride a bike.
A bike or like a little like one that's like loaded a ground bike. I don't even know what those are called.
Yeah, you just don't want me bringing my
an
poles.
adult big wheel.
Okay. Just don't bring my poles is what you're saying. Just ride anything but a pole.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. There's a new poll out, and turns out pretty much almost all of the people say there is nothing more memorable than experiencing something for the first time. And a lot
Like
of those
Sour
folks,
Patch Kids.
Okay, well, you know what? If that's what you got on your list, if that's
I've been
it.
chasing that Sour Patch Kid dragon for years now. That first time you have them, your just mind is blown.
So delicious.
Yeah, 70% of people say they wish they could relive some of their favorite firsts.
So you can say 71% of people are going to say they want to relive the Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah, they do. It's so crazy how lockstep everybody is in with you. So they asked the people, okay, so there's nothing like the first time. What were memorable firsts for you then? And I thought I'd throw it out to you folks and see if you're on the list. It's like, what you think was the best first time experience you ever had.
I mean, trying to think of something that's like PG, of course.
Why?
Well, I mean, come on, 'cause that's like the easy no-brainer thing. I think for everybody is probably something that's like,
I would not want to relive that though.
Yeah,
first time.
It's not on the list. What you're saying, Steve. There's a couple things close to that, but not, I think, what you're thinking.
Okay, I mean that's fine.
I'm thinking. I don't think they edited themselves for this list. I hope they didn't. I hope that they were honest.
I got one.
Yeah, all right, what you got?
The first time I remember being in a band, and that first time to perform in front of a live crowd. Yeah. And granted, it was the crazy. Crazy Country Club was the second time. The first time was at our high school, and it was like after school. Anyone who wants to hang out, a bunch of oddly enough, we were a bunch of metal bands, some teetering on Satanist type bands at an all boys Catholic high school. It's like you couldn't ask for a more weird setup, right? But that was such an exhilarating experience. Like that first time, I remember we covered a Metallica song and just looking out in the crowd and the 12 people that were there that banging their heads. And I was like, this is insane.
I guess, first concert, because not everybody gets to be in a band, but I'll put that in the first concert, even though you were playing the concert.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same for me. I'll go with Steve on my first concert. However, our first concert was terrible. We did it at like a youth center, but just actually getting the nod from another local band to like open up for them, it was like, this is amazing. On what you just said though, BJ, my first concert ever was The Offspring, and I do wish I could go back to that and just kind of like relive that, like seeing them for the first time and with all these people in a crowd where we're being shoved around. Oh, so great.
Yeah, seeing Motley Crue the first time, I remember just sitting there with my buddy Tom, who we just reconnected on Facebook, which I thought was like, once I saw his name pop up as a friend request, I'm just like, oh, Motley Crue.
Nice. Well, again, these are the first that are on the list. And so first concert's definitely on the list. How about you, Vicky? What's your first that you go, boy, I'd like to go back and relive that?
I think it would be like just traveling by myself, being able to go to different places. Like I remember I went to Europe when I was 17 for a class trip, but then I went again when I was 24. And I just being able to go in a different country, having my own schedule. But I also kind of wish I could change up a few things, like maybe bring things that were more practical. But other than that, like I've just been really wanting to travel lately. I really want to go back.
First international trip, that's on the list too. So good for you, Vic.
It would be fun, like if I could just go back and I obviously wouldn't have filmed it because that would have been awkward. But like to be able to witness the birth of our child again, like to experience that first moment.
Oh, interesting.
Now knowing Tatum for the last couple of years and seeing what she's become, to go back and relive this alien thing just coming out and seeing the world for the first time. That would be pretty fun. I'd want to be, though, almost like sitting in like a chair watching my wife and I have that moment, like be able to witness it like as an outside perspective.
Oh, yeah, like you're watching a movie or something.
Yeah, like I wonder if like nurses like appreciate that kind of thing. Like if that's like one of the perks of the job. Obviously, there's a lot of crappy things they have to deal with, but the perk of watching somebody experience childbirth for the first time, I wonder if that's like a cool thing for them or if it's just annoying.
Well, that's a good. I mean, gosh, I would hope it's a cool thing since they have to, like you said, see so much like negative stuff that happens to people in a hospital. Because usually when you're in a hospital, it's for a negative health condition.
Because I feel like every person's childbirth thing is a different experience. Some it happens in minutes. Some it happens like ours, 18 hours.
Well, and for me, like I thought that I would never forget like different details about it. But as the years, I mean, it's been almost 8 years that Lily was born, and it's like there's certain things that I'm like, what? Did I cut the cord? I don't remember. And it's like I wish I could go back and relive it. So it's like, oh, you get to re-see everything that happened.
Well, being a dude, I mean, the average man does not remember details the way the average woman can scientifically. So that's why I would love to be able, because I do forget a lot of those details myself too. I remember just because, Sarah looking at me in the face and screaming her head off. I remember little about Joey being born because it was like there was no drama. He just was like, "How you doing? I'm here."
That sounds very Joe-like. Hey guys,
yeah,
go Tom
Sarah,
Brady.
Got here for the party.
Yeah, Sarah caused all. He was born with a Tom Brady jersey, but we didn't know what number 12 meant at the time.
Gotcha.
It was really odd, but we were like, "All right, well, the kid likes jerseys." All right, so that's so we've got the first international trip, your first concert. Rev, how about you? What's something that you would love to relive as your first?
I think my first job, because it was like the first real job I had over the summer, and it was working as basically a gopher for a painter company. But it was just interesting because I thought like all of these people were so much older and cooler because I was like 16. But thinking about it, it's like they're probably just like 20-somethings just hanging out. And just to be able to look at that from that perspective as an older person now and seeing where that was.
Yeah, first job is on the list. It is on the list, and it's fascinating because I remember my first job, and there's no way I'd want to relive that. I was so happy to leave it at 15 years old. I was uncomfortable. I felt like, man, I'm the noob, and it didn't seem like it was very welcoming. And I wouldn't want to relive that again. That was not a fun. But I couldn't wait to quit that job. I just was like, can I go back to being a kid again? I don't know why I thought I wanted to do this.
Our first job was doing the flipping the burgers on the boardwalk of a beach. Man, I would go back to that in a heartbeat.
Same with Dairy Queen for me. Yeah. I would go back in a second.
I'd come visit you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Though I did forget that I was a paper boy. I guess that was my first job. That was kind of cool. Wouldn't mind going back to being the paper boy again in good weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, the snow weather paper boy stuff was crap. Oh, did I hate that? Well, nobody talked about your first kiss.
No, I wouldn't want to relive that.
Steve was sort of. Oh, I mean,
Jennifer cornered me in kindergarten. I don't want to relive that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the first consensual kiss. Can we call it that?
Fair.
Yeah. I had two first good kisses. I remember with my first girlfriend and with my wife. They were good. At least I thought they were good. I don't know how it was for them, but it was good for me. I wouldn't mind reliving that again.
It was good for me.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can only speak for me. I liked them both. Yeah.
See, but the question is do you go back and relive these with like your knowledge now, and you go back and relive it, and it's like, oh my God, this was actually terrible, or do you go back and just relive it in that same like adolescence mindset?
That would be fun to be able to go back and give tips.
Yeah,
like, yo, this is really what you want to do.
Yeah,
I just remember. And look, I don't know if you guys, the first time you're about to kiss somebody or go a little further, my body was like shaking. I don't know if you just know just how like every part of your body is just like on alert. And, the more you're with somebody, the more time you spend, of course, that feeling goes away. You never have that again, usually. But the first time with somebody, that feeling was amazing. Like, whoa, we're about to do stuff. And
the anticipation.
Yeah.
That's why I go on roller coasters now. I can't go through it with another girl. It's like you're going to go down a roller coaster.
That's a very random connection.
I'm serious though. Like that's that same like adrenaline that kicks through me that it did when I was going to have my first kiss.
Yep.
Yeah,
that I don't know. Anticipation of going up, and then it just all goes downhill.
Yeah, everything's aware.
Except the death part. I mean, when I'm on a roller coaster, I feel like something could go wrong and I could die. Isn't that why roller coasters are scary? Because they're putting you in positions where you're like falling.
It is for me.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I don't have that when I'm with somebody where I'm like, oh, hey, I could fall off this.
I got a good one.
All right.
It's not, I guess it's not a.
And these are memorable firsts that we're talking about. Memorable first times in your life that we're talking about.
It doesn't really fit then. Never mind. I was like the first time that I knew the Seahawks were going to the Super Bowl, but I already knew they were going to the Super Bowl. I guess we experienced it both times. Like the one time we were at the playoff game, and then the Seahawks ended up going when they went up against the Steelers. And then the other time was when they went up against and won it against the Broncos. Like I remember being at the stadium for both of those.
Yeah,
and those experiences were just like on a whole other level.
I mean,
more so the one when they ended up beating the 49ers with the tip because it was such a climactic ending that I would love to have relived that moment again.
Yeah, the first sports moment. If you're a big sports fan, that makes a lot of sense.
Just to soak it in and like really like look around, because that crowd was just like all of us. I mean, unless you were a 49ers fan, of course, but like every Seahawk fan there, we're feeling that exact same emotion at that time.
Now, I am surprised this hasn't come up, only because of the fact of how much you guys are what you are when it comes to animals. How about the first pet? A lot of people put that down as a memorable first moment for them.
I mean, it was all right.
I hadn't thought about that. You're right. Some of those first pets are like a goldfish. I guess you're right. Maybe the first real pet, the first
first dog,
pet.
Yeah.
When my brother came home with our first dog, I was just like, this is incredible. Finally, years of begging, and we've got one.
What was your first dog's name?
Allie.
Aww.
Named after the Beastie Boys song when they go Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Alibaba.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it was
Kerry Blue Terrier.
Oh, nice.
She was badass.
Sounds like it.
And first car also is on the list, which I do remember my first car.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with my first car. It was just whatever my grandpa gave me.
I would love to have my first car back.
Oh, really?
A, to troll my wife because she would never want to step foot in it. And B, because the thing was just awesome and it was a tank, and I have so many great memories from it.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to have my second car back. My first car was a bit of a mess, but my second car was a Mercury Comet, and even and it had a hood scoop. It was fake, but it was a fake hood scoop, but it still looked cool. I mean, everybody thought, dude, you finally have a cool looking car, and it was gold and black, and oh man, and it had some speed to it, and I almost I was trying to race somebody, and I almost ran into a pole, and I was like, I'm done with this.
It is a cool looking car, man, looking at it online.
Yeah, and I'd love to have that back. I had a Chevy Vega as my first car, and that one I don't need back.
We still have my first car, which was a 1988 Honda Civic hatchback. And it was my first car, and then I passed it along to my brother, and now I have a 2.5 or almost 3-year-old brother, and we're kind of trying to see if we can hold off and keep that car running until he turns 15 and a half.
Jeez.
So it could be that's the joke. Like I think it would be awesome if he could have that as his first car too.
But he's going to look at you and go, oh, I'm glad you thought it was awesome.
Well, I mean, he loves jumping on it now, so it's like, all right, kid.
Oh, yeah,
go
sure.
for it.
When he's 15, he's going to go, oh, yeah, when I was a toddler, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You should base everything I liked 13, 14 years later on my toddler activity.
It's like, hey, this was my car, this was your brother's car, now it's your car, kid.
Yeah. He's going to be like, there's no interconnectivity for the phone.
No.
There's no fancy gadgets. There's nothing. Thanks.
No.
Thanks, sis. You're the best.
Actually, I think there's a CD player in that thing, so it is kind of fancy.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure by the time he's 15, CDs are going to be all over the place.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's another question from a listener. I'm getting my wages garnished. Can bankruptcy help with that?
Absolutely. One of the big reasons people file bankruptcy is because they have a judgment or a lawsuit against them, or their wages are getting garnished, and so they can't pay their other regular ongoing bills. People sometimes think that you can't file bankruptcy once they have a judgment against them or once a garnishment has started, and that's not true. Filing bankruptcy will immediately stop any garnishment that you have going, except for child support, and stop your creditors from continuing on with garnishments of your bank accounts, your wages, and in most cases will discharge that liability through the bankruptcy process. And we can file a bankruptcy case for you usually the day you come in.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com.
Let's play B Migs.
It's time to play the game. So everybody scream his name. B Migs, don't be a loser. Whoa, B Migs, you're a loser.
It is time to be Migs, and maybe we could whack him instead because it's Wednesday.
Whack it.
Let me see everybody do their Mr. Wacky then.
All right.
Woo! Mr. Wacky on a Whack It Wednesday. See if we can make it happen and get a win for the contestant and get a song for BJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of this sounds great to me.
Let's get to our contestant today. We've got John in Seattle. John, are you there? John.
Hello, John. He's engaged.
John, are you there?
morning.
All right.
There he is. Yeah. Okay. Oh, boy.
All right, then. Steve, get out of here.
Goodbye.
Whack it.
For those playing at home, John will have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. John, you can pass all you want, but you will only get 3 guesses per question. Are you ready?
Ready.
How many years did Kamala Harris serve in the U.S. Senate before becoming vice president?
8.
No.
10.
No.
4.
Yes. The tan M&M color was retired in 95, and which color replaced it?
Yellow.
No.
Pass.
Who played Woody Boyd in the sitcom Cheers?
Woody Harrelson.
Yes. What is a scientist who studies physics called?
Physiologist?
No.
Pass.
Whose debut rap album was titled Doggy Style?
Snoop Dogg.
Yes. What is the most abundant element in the universe?
Hydrogen.
Yes. What role did John Krasinski play on The Office?
Jim.
Yes. How many Super Bowls have the Green Bay Packers won?
3, 4, 5.
4, yes. What year in the mid-'90s did Mickey Mantle pass away?
96, 97, 98.
No. Which 70s band name consists of the first letter of each person's name in the band?
ABBA?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 correct.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, found that out. I've been doing some 70s research, and that was an interesting factoid I found.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah, see, even I learned something during Beat Migs. Well, before it, because, I wrote the question, and I already knew it by this point.
Yeah, so you really don't learn anything in Beat Migs.
Yeah, I don't learn anything right now, but, I learned something before.
Yeah, I think we've established that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love walking in on these conversations.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think he's trying to suss it out. I'm not sure he's fully sussed it out yet, but he's trying.
This whole thing's half-baked. Steve, are you ready?
Yes.
How many years did Kamala Harris serve in the U.S. Senate before becoming vice president?
6.
No.
9.
No.
20.
No.
Wow.
The tan
0?
No. The tan M&M color was retired in 95, and which color replaced it?
Purple.
No.
Red.
No.
Brown.
No. Who played Woody Boyd in the sitcom Cheers?
That would be Woody Harrelson.
Yes. What is a scientist who studies physics called?
A physician.
No.
A physicist.
Yes. Whose debut rap album was titled Doggy Style?
That'd be Snoop Dogg. Happy birthday, Snoop.
Yeah, happy birthday, Snoop. What is the most abundant element in the universe?
Gas.
Well, no. No, I said an element.
Oh. Oxygen.
No.
Methane.
No. What
Gold.
role? No.
Very gold.
What role did John Krasinski play on The Office?
He played John.
No.
Chuck.
No.
Rev.
No. How many Super Bowls have the Green Bay Packers won?
2.
No.
1.
No.
3.
No. What year of the mid-'90s did Mickey Mantle pass away?
94.
No. And Steve, you lose 3-7.
Woo. What a match!
Wow! Today,
I need a cigarette, and I've never smoked.
Yeah. Nice win, John.
That was terrible.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Good job.
Yeah, that was something else. I almost feel bad playing this.
Almost.
And I lost someone who's near to me. I'm a loser, and I'm not what I appear to be.
a couple of the ones that you didn't get, surprisingly, John did. He knew that Kamala Harris served 4 years in the U.S. Senate before becoming vice president. Good for her. The most abundant element in the universe is hydrogen, which is a gas, but I need the specific gas.
Okay.
You can't just say gas.
Fair.
And John Krasinski played Jim in The Office.
He doesn't know The Office.
Yeah, he doesn't know The Office.
I remember that name. I couldn't think of the name.
How many Super Bowls have the Green Bay Packers won? That would be 4.
Come on, Steve.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you want from me? Do I look like a cheesehead?
No.
You look like a something head.
Yeah, you're not a cheesehead. And then a couple of ones that you did not get that John did not either. The tan M&M color was retired in 95, and which color replaced it?
Green?
No.
No, I'm going to say yellow.
No, that
Orange.
was what I said. No. Blue! Vicky off mic says blue, and that is the correct one.
Good job. I didn't realize blue wasn't always an M&M color. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then what year of the mid-'90s did Mickey Mantle pass away?
Well, I mean, we'd be guessing, what, 95 now?
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was basically the only one that wasn't said there.
Yeah.
And then there was one question that we didn't, that you didn't get to, Steve. John got it correct, but it was still the interesting factoid that we were talking about. Which 70s band name consists of the first letter of each person's name in the band?
Crap!
You're not going to get this.
It's not ELO.
No.
Oh man.
No, there was a guy named Electric and a guy named Light. And
I
a guy named
know.
Orchestra.
I know. I know. Once you say it, I'm gonna be like, damn it.
It's ABBA.
I wouldn't have known.
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah.
No.
Well, they're Swedish, so they have Swedish names, but it's ABBA, and yeah.
I'm still very surprised that the contestant got that. I am like so surprised because I wouldn't even. I just don't think of ABBA as a '70s band. I mean, I know they were in the '70s, but that's amazing that he got that.
Why didn't you think that they're not in the 70s? They got big in the 70s on Eurovision.
No, I said I don't think of them as like in my brain, when you think of 70s bands, ABBA just doesn't come to mind. I think of other bands is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was surprised the contestant got it.
You probably cheated.
I mean, you researched the question and were interested, so obviously that's why you know.
Is it ABBA's birthday today or something?
No, I think maybe somebody just gave you that question, but it was I'd also had seen and remembered that off of the there's a Netflix special about all the pop music, and there was one about Swedish music, and it talked about ABBA a whole bunch about that and how they
that makes sense.
Eurovision with all sorts of cool stuff, and
it's on your radar. That's why you saw the Netflix special.
Yeah, exactly. Why doesn't anyone else know that? I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, probably because they didn't see the Netflix.
Clearly,
special.
we're losers.
Yeah, exactly. You need to brush up on your ABBA, Steve.
Do I really need to do that?
And maybe you would win. Sorry for your loss.
Not sure I'm going to brush up on my ABBA. I think I'm gonna let that pass. Someone asked people to name a secret ingredient that can make your favorite food taste even better.
Lobster.
And I'm going to see if lobster's on the list. Wow. No lobster on your. This is going to be stuff, though.
I appreciate you looking.
Yeah. I have to say this is interesting. And, some of it I agree with. Some of it I go, wow, I would never have thought about it. How about this? Popcorn. You're a big fan of popcorn, Steve.
I had it last night.
Some people are saying you want it to taste better. Instead of salting it, how about you use ramen noodle seasoning and just dump that on your, with melted butter on your popcorn? They say a game changer.
I have done stuff like that before. Also, like nutritional yeast. A lot of people swear by that.
Oh, my wife loves that stuff.
A little bit of a nutritional yeast and some soy sauce. That's a really good little concoction
for your popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh,
surprisingly,
wow.
Not a lot of soy sauce because otherwise it gets way too soggy. Like a little drip.
Little drip, baby, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just old school. I just give me a little salt, some butter, and I'm fine. Although the ramen packets, I used to use those when I was broken in college, not just for the noodles, but if all I could afford was a bowl of rice, like one of those instant rice things. I would grab the ramen packet or a little bit of it because I didn't want to waste it all because I still needed it for the noodles, and just to give it a little chicken seasoning on my rice.
Oh, that's why that hamburger helper and all that was so good, because that's just basically what that was.
Yeah,
just flavor up whatever it is and make it fancier. How about this? This one I don't know if I've ever tried. I might want to try it. It seems sacrilege. Mustard in your mac and cheese.
Oh, I could see that.
They're saying a little bit of Dijon zests it up.
That makes sense because I love, they have a mustard base. It's like the gold sauce, barbecue sauce, and I love that on mac and cheese. Like Trader Joe's has a really good one.
Yeah, and if you make mac and cheese from scratch a lot, you have to use ground mustard as one of the spices.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, if I know.
I've never even. I would not have known that. I would just think you'd get your macaroni and throw some cheese on there, and that was it.
With that one, though, I think my original answer does apply for it. Lobster. You put some lobster in your mac and cheese, it's instantly amazing.
Pulled pork?
Pulled pork.
I don't think we're talking about what to add to it, like with protein. This is just,
You put lobster in your popcorn? Yeah. I mean, lobster popcorn?
Oh, lobster popcorn.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to trying it.
I wouldn't be
pork
either.
popcorn?
Yeah.
I'm down with that, too.
I'm not opposed to that either.
Yeah.
Little jalapenos in your mac and cheese?
Oh,
not a ton, just enough. To
you don't need a whole lot there.
Yeah. How about this? And I don't know what this flavoring is. Tahine. It sounds like a Urban Dictionary
so
thing.
Good.
Dude, it's a game changer.
Is it? What is tahine?
A lot of people love putting it. We've talked about it before, but a lot of people love putting it on their watermelon or on other fruit, and it's kind of like a Mexican seasoning.
Oh yeah, it's got a bunch of different spices in it, and there's different variations of it. So there's spicier ones. But in Mexico, when you go to street vendors, they'll give you a giant cup, and they'll cut up mango, watermelon, melon, jicama, and they'll put lime juice on top, and then some tahine or something like it, and it is the most delicious thing in the world.
Now that I hear Vicky say that, now I know tahine.
You put it on popcorn.
Yes. You can
also, dude, shout out to Jackson's. You know I love them for their snickerdoodles, but also now they have a bag of peanuts that are tahine peanuts. And
really?
It's just a tahine seasoning on the peanuts.
Right. Okay.
Forget about it.
Oh, I've even had the Pichio rings with tahine seasoning. They sell those.
I have had those too, and those are also very, very spicy, but very good.
So is it going to be too spicy for me?
The peach rings, yes. The peanuts, no.
And I feel like you can adjust the flavor or how much you add to it. So I think you'll like it. It gives it a good balance between the sweet and then there's salt in it. So it really brings out the flavor of watermelon. And you can put it in when you get your elotes. You get corn on the cob.
What the hell is elotes?
You don't get
elote
elotes?
is corn. But Mexican style elotes, it's with the mayonnaise and the cheese. And then you put some tahine on top.
Yeah, it's the only way that we eat corn on the cob now.
Yeah.
Oh, really? The only way? Look at you fancy
The
people.
only
Mexican
way.
style lotes.
Wow.
So
Also,
amazing.
very good with lobster.
Yeah,
tahini?
yeah.
Okay.
I
fair
still
enough.
haven't done the tahini on watermelon. I need to do that because I know people swear
It's
by
super
it.
good. Yeah.
And you go to a grocery store if you want to, like, I always get like those cups of watermelon that are chopped up, or like the little bowls of watermelon, and they always sell a little thing of tahini,
Oh, that is
a
so
bottle
cool.
of tahini right by there, just in case.
I do recommend
wow.
adding just a smidge of lime juice too. Like, try it both ways. Lime
lot of
juice.
work.
Oh my god, it's worth it, man.
It is.
So worth it.
I do recommend having Vicky prepare this for you.
I mean, I
recommend that.
can.
Yeah. That way you don't have to worry about the work, Steve.
Right.
How about this? Instant coffee. And again, we're talking about things to add to food that you know that will actually make them better, even though you would never think of adding these things. Instant coffee in your chocolate chip cookie batter. So take a little Folgers, throw it in with your Nabisco.
Really?
And
Yeah.
there you go.
They've done like tests and stuff. If you add coffee to anything chocolate, like a chocolate cake, it really intensifies the chocolate flavor. It really just kind of bumps it up a step.
Well, we love mocha, so it makes
try
sense.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I
What
mean,
about
I
with
feel like-
lobster? Is it good with lobster?
Oh, lobster,
Always good. Always
lobster
good.
mocha? Oh, man, is that amazing. You ought to try that, Steve. How about making grilled cheese with mayonnaise instead of butter? I know this
Yeah,
one.
I've seen that one.
And I would
I
argue
haven't
try
seen this.
Miracle Whip, and that's a real winner, but you guys don't like Miracle Whip.
That's how my mom used to make it all the time.
Oh,
Man.
wow.
Oh,
So
yeah,
good.
I've always just used butter on it.
It
Mayor?
gives you a nice,
Mayor.
nice crunch to your bread. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
They're also saying do a little mayo,
Still
do a
use
little hot
cheese, don't
sauce.
it? Right? Like
No, you
It's
use
not
lobster.
just bread and mayo. I mean,
Yeah, let's just get that grilled mayo sandwich there.
I don't know anymore.
if you're bro college students, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
This
I've
is
had tomato and
these-
cucumber sandwiches before.
Steve, the topic is in addition to what we're making.
know.
We're not cutting out the main course.
Oh, hold on a second. You said you replaced the butter with mayo, so clearly we're replacing things.
Well, we're not replacing the cheese. It's a grilled cheese sandwich.
don't know anymore.
Like I'm making mac and cheese.
What is
You want to
going
make your mac
on?
and cheese taste better? What do? You get rid of the mac and the cheese. You just hey. Oh.
What do you want from me? I don't know. Maybe people are like, hey, you use enough mayo, it tastes like cheese. I don't know, BJ.
Apparently not. We're not going to remove the main course of the meal here.
Good.
How about okay? Again, we're talking scrambled eggs, Steve. Spoiler alert. This will not not involve them removing the eggs from this particular.
Good.
Right. Adding sour cream in your scrambled eggs. They're
So
saying
like after you make the scrambled eggs, you put it in, or you work it in while you're mixing it?
before you cook them, they say you mix in that tablespoon of sour cream and you use less milk than you normally do.
Wait,
it makes them fluffier and also makes them taste better. Sour cream instead of putting milk in scrambled eggs. That's
I
a
didn't know
game
you're
changer.
supposed to put milk in scrambled eggs.
Oh, you don't know that?
It makes them
Yeah.
fluffier.
You never did that?
No, I take an egg, I crack it in the pan, and then I just stir it around, and then I have scrambled eggs.
Throw some milk in, and it gets way fluffier, and it's way
Or
tastier.
sour cream.
Have you never wondered why your scrambled eggs
tahini.
aren't as good as tahini? No. Have you never wondered, like when you go to a restaurant, you're like, wow, their scrambled eggs are amazing.
No, I've never wondered that. I'm just like, it's eggs. It smells like farts. I'm going to eat it. I don't care.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Boy, I really don't want eggs anymore. Probably forever.
Oh, dude, my mom was like, she would like a mad scientist when making scrambled eggs, like just doing it a little bit of milk, a little more scramble, a little more milk, like just until it becomes perfectly fluffy.
You know what makes eggs taste good too? Bacon.
Lobster. Oh, okay.
Lobster. Yeah, I thought we were going there.
Bacon lobster.
Bacon
yeah.
lobster. There you go.
Well, like scrambled eggs and like chunks of bacon, or are you just saying bacon on the
Just
side?
any kind of bacon.
Bacon
Whatever
and
you
eggs,
want to do.
yeah.
Yeah, bacon and eggs.
I didn't know if I was missing out on some new hack.
No.
Again, these are additions that we're adding to our foods that you wouldn't think about. I don't think anyone's ever thought, you know what, man, bacon is so weird, but let's try it with our eggs.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW. Hey, you got something to say? I got something to say. They're wild, rabid, and on the loose. This is Listeners on the Loose.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. It's Listeners on the Loose. Yeah, you get to pick the topic. You get to guide the show at 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. And whatever it is you want to talk about, make sure that Steve's rules are being followed.
It's a simple rule, BJ. It's to show some energy and bring it. Otherwise, we're going to have to gong you and then say goodbye.
Goodbye, old friend.
206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999.
Someone said yesterday you guys were talking about neck fans, like those neck coolers that we were
Oh,
mentioning.
right. Yeah, because I got my Arctic cooler yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
it got mailed to me.
Did you work it out?
Yeah. You know, it's, it does what it blows air.
It blows air.
Yeah, it blows air. It's kind of cool. I mean,
it's not as good as you thought it was going to be.
I really, it's going to be something. It'll help, but I was really hoping for something more, and I should have realized, it's not.
A lot of people say that you should get a ceiling fan, and you do the reverse direction, and that'll help bring the cool air up.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, I wondered if that would help out. I'm looking into it.
Okay, well, let's get back to the neck fan, because this person said I wanted to let you know I got one over the weekend, and it's great. It's the best invention ever. Best part of it is when you have it on, you're sweaty. When you have it on while you're sweaty, it cools the sweat down, so it feels like constant cold water running down your face.
Oh wow,
interesting.
All right.
What if that's like the thing now? We're going to just see people in the summers with these like weird looking like neck things on them that are coolers for their face.
Yeah, I hope it's okay. I remember there was something, I don't know, Legionnaire's disease or some kind of sickness you could get because you were letting your sweat get too cold and be on your body. I don't know if that's I forget what it was. I don't know if it's Legionnaire's disease or something, but you got to be careful about letting cold sweat stay on you, apparently. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds like it sounds like a great invention. They say your neck is where your body regulates temperature. So if you're ever really hot, you should put some sort of cold something on the back of your neck and you'll feel relief quickly.
Huh. It was the feet holding the heat, right? In the head as well. Is it the feet?
Well, that's
head?
what
I know the head,
you want to keep your head and feet. Yeah. You want to keep your head and feet warm because that's where it escapes.
Yeah.
The heat will escape. Yeah. But they say the neck is like your thermostat. And so if you're feeling really hot, you take a cold towel and put it around your neck, and you'll feel relief quicker than if you try to do it anywhere else in your body.
Oh,
that's what I heard from an expert, and whether or not they know what they're talking about.
Somebody want to know what is our favorite holiday?
Favorite
Danny's.
holiday?
Does anybody have to guess at Danny's?
Oh, it's easy. Labor Day.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I thought it was Arbor Day.
That too.
They're really close together. I really like the trees, so
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's Halloween for Danny.
Thank you. Yes, Halloween.
Now we've been. I think we've talked about this before. Let's see if we remember. Do we all remember each other's favorite holidays?
All right. BJ's is Flag Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know me because of Sheldon. You know what I mean? Fun with flags.
Man, I feel like everybody but Danny is probably Christmas.
I thought you were Thanksgiving.
I am.
See?
That's what I was trying to swerve you, and you were on to me, Vicky.
I know you do well.
Yeah, I'm definitely Christmas, and I forgot Steve is Thanksgiving, so thank you for that, Vicky, because I would have said Christmas.
Yep.
But I honestly don't know Rev. I can't remember if Rev is Christmas or not.
I think his is May the 4th.
Yeah, because it's also his birthday.
Yeah, you actually called it 100%. Yeah. When my birthday falls on Star Wars Day, it works out.
It's not really a holiday, though.
Get out!
It's a holiday.
My birthday is a holiday.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And I know, I thought they were talking about the major holidays.
I
like
think
the
no,
ones
it
that
just
are
said
recognized.
holiday.
BJ, I think you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, Rev, do you have a major holiday favorite outside of your birthday? May the 4th be with you.
Nope.
Really? Okay, well, all right, there's that. And Vicky, are you Christmas? Is it Christmas for you?
I really love Halloween, but there's a lot of pressure. But I love Christmas music, the snow, the wrapping of the presents. I love every single part of it, even the parts that people hate. I love it. So I think Christmas has to be number one.
Even the arguing amongst family, because that's how I connect. That's probably why I don't like Christmas. I don't hate Christmas, but Christmas was always a chore growing up because it was just like, okay, it's awesome that we get presents. But then after we get presents, we get to go around family and they all argue with each other. So it's kind of like, is it worth it for the presents?
Well, at some point, our family
the
got...
answer is yes, of course.
At some point, our family got way too big. There's 17 of us cousins, 18 now with my little brother who just got adopted. So there was just no room to have all the cousins, plus the parents and maybe boyfriends and girlfriends. So we just stopped having Christmas parties a long time ago. So I never really had that. It was just fun. We'd cook at home. Because we always have Christmas dinner on Noche Buena, the 24th.
Noche Buena.
The good night. And, yeah, it was just us. It was perfect.
As I've gotten older, I think Christmas Eve now has become a better I get more excited about because, that's the one where we, like, now I'm around my wife's family, and they don't argue like my family does, so it's, like, a lot more fun to be around family. And that's the day where everyone just, like, it's all the bells and whistles, all the food. I just like any holiday that involves eating like a mass amount of food, BJ, clearly.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. If you like Thanksgiving, you're going to love Christmas Eve. That makes sense.
But I'm pretty pumped for this Christmas because I get to Tatum's going to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. And, last year it was more just like
Oh yeah,
you'd rip the box for her, and then she'd kind of pull it, and then she got bored of it.
Lost interest.
There wasn't much going on for her where she was like that excited about Christmas. I think this year it's going to be a bigger deal.
Hopefully, she won't be terrible. I mean, hopefully they
she's already warming us up for that, BJ. Don't worry about
it. Nice. Oh, is she ahead of her time? She ahead of the curve?
It depends on the day, but yes.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Today she woke up just randomly at 3 a.m. That never happens. She usually sleeps through the night. She's crying and screaming, maybe even a little bit earlier than that. My wife goes in, tries to put her back down, still crying and screaming. So my wife's like sitting there on the chair in the baby's room. And she slides off of her and just walks out of the room and goes to our like kind of office where we have books, like all the children's books and the books I never read. And she grabs one of her books and in the dark just sits there and pretends to be reading the book. And we're like, I guess she just woke up with a hankering to read.
Wow, that's interesting, man. You know, like the thing. You want to know what's going on in her head. Like, what are you doing?
Right? Because like I wake up and I'm like, where's my wife? And then I go and I'm like, why do I hear our child talking? Like she's like making sounds, not really talking, and then there she is just sitting on my wife's lap, just reading in the dark.
Oh, man.
Because why not?
Those wonderful moments where you go, great, you're being totally random. Thank you, child.
So I want to know, are any of you guys fans of horror films? And if so, what's your favorite horror film?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Rev and I are probably the closest in terms of, but I mean, I'm not like old school horror fans. I like all the newer ones. So like I enjoy all the remakes. And honestly, the one that I have to watch every year is Halloween, the Rob Zombie film.
I still haven't seen that one. I hear it's great. I haven't even seen The House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm not a horror film guy.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And there's to me, there's a lot of a difference between like horror, which is kind of like, old school killer gore
like Jason,
type stuff.
Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger.
But then like my favorite ghost one is Paranormal Activity.
That's a good one.
But I don't know if you consider that horror.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% absolute horror.
Does it make people scream?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It's a genre of horror.
I don't know if it does. I haven't seen it.
It's a genre of horror, just like you could call zombie movies, horror movies in a way, but that's a genre. So, yeah, Paranormal Activity, I think, qualifies as horror, but it's definitely its own genre.
All right, Rev, what's your favorite then?
Man, that's a really big question on that. But I would have to go with the Nightmare on Elm Street. The first ones are so iconic. And I mean, even like literally Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors is probably the best iteration of them all. But they're all so much fun. Like, it's weird to call a horror movie fun.
No, but I agree with you, man. Like, now that you say that, like, I think of the fun horror films, like even Friday the 13th, and those, like, there was something like, they were campy, and they had scary moments. But then nowadays, they're like legit trying to scare the crap out of you, and I'm not down with that.
Yeah, I don't know if those movies hold up. Rev, you know more about those movies than I do. I'm afraid that a lot of those older movies don't hold up, which is why I'm not a horror fan, but I really appreciated this. And I'll give love to Army of Darkness. I could not do Evil Dead 1 and 2. It just wasn't. I don't know. It was so poorly made. But Army of Darkness
That's part
was
of the beauty of it, though.
I know. I mean, and then people like that, but I really like that Sam Raimi got some money and did Army of Darkness. I give that number 2 on my list, but number 1 is another Sam Raimi film, and I love it because, like Steve said, it's funny and it's also scary. And Drag Me to Hell, and a lot of people don't know this movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, it's my favorite horror movie, and if you haven't seen it, I mean, man. It is very, very entertaining.
For a recent one, I think A Quiet Place is a good one that people should check out. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but I really did like the first one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. All I've seen is like a lot of previews and like clips and things of that nature. Someday I'm going to sit down and watch it. It's one of those movies like I really don't like. I got to be in the right, and I just haven't been in the right place. But nothing but good stuff I've heard about that movie.
Now again, I'm not a big horror movie guy, but I'd have to say my number 1 favorite, besides Friday the 13th and the campy ones, but is Saw. Saw is such
Saw is good.
That changed the game.
Saw is good.
It was. Yeah. I mean, just the whole movie was great. Edge of your seat intensity, but the ending, it was just. I remember watching that. We interviewed The only reason why I watched it was again, I was like, I don't want to watch a horror film, but we were interviewing Carrie Elwes.
Oh, yeah, Elwes.
Yeah. He came in studio back when I worked at the old job, and I was like, I guess I should go see this movie. And when he came in, I swear, I was about ready to give him a lap dance. I'm like, do you not realize how great your movie is? He's like, this is too much for me. Would
you like to play a game?
Oh, yeah. We've all been there where we've made the guests feel really ridiculously uncomfortable with our praise.
Oh, yeah, been there.
He got a big kick out of it, though, because I'm like, I don't even like horror movies, and your movie was mind-blowing.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW. BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. It's Listeners on the Loose. You pick the topic. You guide the show. Let's go to Dan in Seattle. Dan, you are on The Rock.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yo. Not too bad, Dan. What you got for us, buddy?
I got a bad neighbor story about myself, and then I need to ask you guys a food question after that if I can.
We always have time for a food question.
All right. So what you're saying is you were the bad neighbor.
Yeah, and me and my roommates are the bad neighbors. You know, I always tell people that if you can't afford to go to a good university or you're not smart enough, the next best thing is to rent a house with a bunch of people right next to a university. And that's what we did in our late teens through our early 20s. And now that I'm 40, now I see how terrible we were. And I'm a homeowner, and if I had neighbors like myself, I can't imagine how bad it would be.
Yeah. Boy, yeah. You know what? Nothing like a little age and wisdom to really show you who you were. What did you do? What made you a bad neighbor?
Well, we lived there for about 3 years, which is surprising that we made it that long. But I had a buddy that had a sound company. And so when we would have parties over there, he would bring over the big speaker cabinet.
Oh, boy.
Yep. And I remember the first time I had to leave the house during a party and come back, and I was about a block away coming up the street, and you could clearly hear the music, like a block down. But I still remember one time we had an alley. We lived in Denver, and we had an alley behind our house, and we all shared dumpsters. And I remember I was taking a bunch of beer boxes out there one day, and a buddy of mine was on the other side of the fence in my backyard, and the lady came up to me. She had to have been about 80 years old, and she walked right up to me, and she looked at the boxes, and she just said, she looks at me, and she says, "Would you have another beer party?"
Beer party.
I remember coming home one time, and a couple of my roommates, a package, this was around Christmas time, a package had gotten delivered to our house by mistake. And my roommates, being the awesome people that they were, decided to go ahead and crack it open. And I still have images of my 22-year-old roommate, who was about 6'2", walking around with Buzz Lightyear pajamas on that were probably made for like a 7-year-old.
Oh, there we go. Oh, and some poor 7-year-old going, oh,
yeah.
I had a roommate for Christmas.
I had a neighbor that gave me a car. He had one of those old station wagons where the seats face backwards in the back and all that stuff. The thing had been sitting in front of his house for like 2 years, and finally they moved out, and he says, "Hey, you want that car?" I said, "Sure." He says, "I'll give it to you for free." He says, "I don't know how well it runs or anything like that." I said, "Oh, no, cool, man." And so he left. I put the keys in it, and me and my buddy went up to put some air in the tires, and when we were coming back, the brakes stopped working. Yeah, wow. And so we decided that we were just going to circle around until it went slow enough to where we could hit the driveway and then just pull the e-brake. And so somehow, some way, when we hit that driveway, we picked up speed. And I went to pull the e-brake, and it was one of those ones where, like, the handle was in the dash. And I pulled the handle, and the handle just broke off in my hand.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And we drove straight through the garage into the backyard. And when I came out, one of the neighbors was just sitting on his step with his arms folded, just looking at me. And he just turned and went back inside.
I'd love to hear the conversation he had inside of his house. You won't believe our moron neighbor.
Dude, I know when we moved, I think that whole neighborhood probably had a celebration. But, it was right near the college, so they should be used to it, you know?
So what's the food question?
Okay, so I grew up in Denver. I've been out here for about 5 years now. I cannot find a Mexican restaurant out here that serves green chili or even knows what it is. To save my life. Does anybody or a listener or anybody know a place where I can get good green chili here?
Cactus.
Taco Bell.
Cactus, really?
Yeah. Cactus restaurants. They have one in downtown Seattle, and they also have one in West Seattle. They have New Mexico.
I've been to that place. That place is good.
Yeah, super good. And they have chimayo enchiladas, which it's New Mexico red chili, but then they also work in some of their green chili as well. And then there's also some good places in Portland too, which obviously 3-hour drive.
Well, that's a drive.
But they have some they have restaurants down there, and I don't remember the names of them right now, but I know that they have like huge New Mexico flags and stuff. And I'm just going to say this: New Mexico green chili is better than Colorado green chili. Sorry, bye.
Wow,
it's a huge feud, so he probably got it.
I'll check out Cactus. Thank you.
Is it a bigger feud than the JP Patches versus the other guy from JP
Horse
Patches?
buddies.
Probably.
Winky the clown, man.
Oh, wow. All right, now we got
Who's
Winky
Squinky?
involved.
Oh, Winky. I thought you said Squinky. I'm like, who the hell is Squinky?
Oh,
No, our TV clown out there was Blinky.
Blinky.
Oh, Blinky. Ah, yeah. We had Willie Whistle in Boston.
Well, everybody's got one, huh?
Yeah, they do.
Clowns. Everybody's got one.
Just like an opinion. Everybody's got one. There you go. Appreciate the call, Dan. There you go. 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999.
Oh, here's a good one. Someone just texted in and said, my wife and I were dealing with a massive issue with her older sister. Her older sister is getting married and has gone full-on bridezilla. She knows that she knows that we're trying to have a baby, and she asked if we could wait until after her wedding in December to start trying. The reason being is that she doesn't want anyone, quote, stealing her thunder at the wedding.
Wow.
I think her sister's nuts.
Yeah.
My sister, my wife, I think he says the sister, she agrees, but it's a long text. That's the gist of it, though.
Yeah, I mean, that used to be, I don't know, that's not a common issue, is somebody not wanting to have the attention taken away from them by another sibling at their wedding, and usually it's, a female sibling. But I feel like that's an old problem. Like, we're cooler now, aren't we, as people?
I like that you say that, but here it is. This poor woman is dealing with this with her sister. They're saying, hey, no, I don't want you stealing my thunder.
Yeah, it's too bad. I just feel like that, really, you're still worried about that kind of crap? So what if your sister's pregnant during your wedding? Big deal.
It seems a little weird.
It's still your wedding.
The only time I think it would be a problem is if she were to announce that she was pregnant at her wedding. That would be a jerk move. But really, she's that insecure. I don't know. Can you divorce your sister? Is that possible? Can you divorce a sibling?
But how about you, let's just say, look, as someone who went through having a difficult time having a kid, you're not going to tell us when to put things on pause. If I don't know what their story is, maybe their story is that they're ready to rock, and as soon as they try, baby's going to come. But, for all we know, maybe they've been trying for a while. So all of a sudden you're going to tell them to, hold off because you don't want your sister having a bump, like a baby bump in I would imagine she's going to be one of the bridesmaids.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but if you really are that much of an attention person, that you need that much attention, that the wedding is really all about attention. Isn't the wedding supposed to be about the fact that you're going to be marrying this person and you're celebrating the fact that we're going to spend our lives together? Not that, I get all the attention. That's why?
No, it's to be a princess.
Oh, I thought the wedding was all about the open bar. I did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And magicians and ice sculptures.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, I got news for you. If my daughter or my son said, yeah, blah, blah, blah to the other about that, I would have a strong talk with that person going, guess who's not having a wedding if you keep that attitude up?
I say just keep trying. Don't say anything. And then if she gets pregnant and you guys show up, I don't know if they see each other a lot, if they're out of town or something along those lines, just be like, hey, I had a big lunch. And that's why I got the guts going.
Yeah, but it's like they've already made the announcement. Everyone's going to know that the sister's pregnant anyway. So it's like by the time the wedding happens, the pregnancy's old news if they announce they're pregnant. It's so dumb.
Yeah, the whole thing is stupid.
Yeah, all of it's just so dumb.
I don't understand how people lose their minds. You hear, there's Reddit threads just for bridezillas, and there's this television show Bridezilla, and it's just you just kind of wonder, man, you seems like such a stereotypical bridezilla. Don't you think that you should stop yourself? Oh my gosh, I'm becoming that person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Listeners on the Loose. You pick the topic, you guide the show. 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999.
So I like this question. Someone said, do you guys ever go on Facebook Memories to see the dumb essay you used to write? And if so, do you delete it? LOL.
Yes and yes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, now I'm curious. What was some of the... I do enjoy going to my Facebook Memories almost every day just to see where my mind was at 12, 13 years ago, because it's always so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a lot angrier 12 or 13 years ago.
No.
That's what I'm noticing.
Really?
Right,
yeah, I know you guys, it's a surprise, but yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back to... All right, let's go back to 12 years ago on this date for me.
All right, what you do 12
Let me know
years ago.
if I should delete this. It just says, I farted mid-stride on the elliptical machine at the gym. It was humiliating and awesome all at once.
No, you keep that.
Okay,
Yeah,
Keep that one. Yeah,
that stays.
I got 4 solid likes on this one.
Yeah. You always got to keep the fart posts.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, see that? You know what? You have nothing to be ashamed of. Meanwhile, my entire pretty much Facebook career is to be ashamed of.
8 years ago, we had Candlebox in studio.
Wow. I don't remember having Candlebox in studio. We had Candlebox in studio?
Yeah, they did Far Behind. Remember they did it? They performed it live.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've even talked about that on the air.
Dude, I have totally.
Times, yeah.
Remember because we interviewed Kevin Martin for our 50th anniversary. I hope I didn't say it's good having you on for the first time.
Well, no, I mean, during that interview, I even mentioned the time that they performed in studio with us.
Oh, did you? Well, you know what? I forgot that too.
Man.
Yeah,
it's available probably online. I could get you a link to the interview if you want.
Yeah, you ought to. Wow.
Yeah, look at that right there.
I really felt like I'd never met Kevin Martin before. Oh, dang. All right. Well,
no, you even brought up on the air multiple times like how it was like surreal, like being like just one person away from him.
I probably did at the time, but then, then you forget things, obviously.
8 years ago, I am pretty sure I have had hummus every day this week. I don't have an issue with this. Others may, however.
Wow, that's some deep thoughts right there.
It's pretty on brand for me.
10 years ago for me, mission haircut today. It may be intense.
What the hell were we thinking?
Yeah, were you cutting a mullet?
Social media is so stupid.
10 years ago. Ugh, someone save me. I don't want to sleep. And then the Z's for sleeping. I don't even know.
Were you trying to get banged or something?
I don't know.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
How do you find your memories? I mean, I usually get it notified in my feed, but I don't know how to find it by my own.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Go on the bottom right. There's that little picture of your face.
I see that, yeah.
You click on that, and then like 3 or 4 things down, it says memories.
Mm. Oh, wait, little thing on my face on my phone?
Yeah.
I see the menu. Is that the one you want?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is your face on there?
No, I got 3 lines.
Oh.
They don't give me my face.
You don't have
phone.
your image on there?
No, not in that area that I'm supposed to click. Oh, boy. But anyway.
That's the problem.
All right, so now I go to friends, events, groups, notifications. Oh, memories. Here we go. I got 3 on this day. Don't tell Steve Migs because he'll try to rock roll me. That's all I got. Oh, it was because we're talking about Melania Trump was doing a rickroll or somebody rickrolled her. And I said, don't tell anybody because Steve will then try to rock roll me because you always used to go, it doesn't matter what you think.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Oh, memories.
Yeah, so that's what happened 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And then it says here, 7 years ago, I just watched the Radio Cowboy episode. Oh, for Mark Maron. Wow, that was when Mark Maron had a TV show.
Oh, that's right. He did have one.
Yeah, and Phil, he had Phil Hendry on, and Phil Hendry played pretty much a down and out radio guy. He didn't play himself. He played a radio guy who had a down and out, not such a great career.
So it sounds like BJ should just keep all of his memories because you forget when we have people in studio. That's a good point.
It's so true, dude. I mean, it is so true. People ask me, who'd you have on? I go, I really need to make a list. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm very jealous of myself 6 years ago because on this day, 6 years ago, I was at the Acropolis.
Ooh.
Man, how do you get in that Wayback Machine?
Right? And then it's like Acropolis was a blast. Now we're doing karaoke. # steak and boobs. # I love these guys.
Yeah, so you got to keep those.
Yeah.
Oh, so what, they do a karaoke at the Acropolis?
No, we went to a karaoke bar after the fact.
Ah, there we go. All right.
10 years ago for me, chicken McNugget sushi. What's wrong with that?
Oh, did we go to Trappers or something?
No, this 10 years ago.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because they have like that Thunderbird roll that has a chicken nugget inside of it.
Maybe that's what it was then. I
Very
don't
prophetic
remember
of you. Yeah, you weren't even living here yet.
No, but what's wrong with that?
Wow, we are exciting people on Facebook, aren't we?
Oh, I don't feel so bad about farting on the elliptical anymore. I'll tell you that, guys.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. If I file for bankruptcy, do I have to appear in court? That makes me nervous.
Going to court is never something that's easy to do. However, when you file bankruptcy, you usually only have to attend one hearing at the courthouse. Of course, I'll be there with you. And when you go to court, it's not before the judge. It's actually with the trustee or the trustee's attorney. One of the things that's critical in a bankruptcy is that you give your attorney and the court all of your information. You list all of your assets and all of your creditors. That's what we're trading for your discharge, is your true and honest disclosure of your assets and liabilities. And so the court hearing is just usually about a 5-minute deal where you show up and reaffirm and swear that all the information you've given the court and your attorney is correct.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.